afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a special episode here of the Propagandacast. Looking back at, 1,000 episodes of Company Heroes 2, and unlike rumours, it will not lead to me, gaining mystical powers and gaining control over the world. Sadly, I checked. So nothing quite like that, but 1,000 episodes, that's quite a lot. It's also about, 1,000 episodes ago, I was invited to Relic with a bunch of other people. Fun trip, by the way. So, it's a bit crazy to think about that. My apologies, I've been dealing with a nasty cold all week. Not really been helping out on things, My apologies if it sounds a bit off, there's a bit of a cough here and there. But 1,000 episodes, that's also quite a bit of time, and that's also, quite a lot that's happened in the game. Really, the game is changing so much. We've got, overhauls for the factions, overhauls for the veterans. veterans in now is completely different from the beginning of the game, for example. With, more factions, units being changed out, new units being added, new ideas, new concepts. Really, again, just consider how the new armies are compared to the old armies. There's a huge difference in how they operate compared to the old ones, which were basically under the THQ times, not very nice times for Relic there before they were basically handed over to Sega. So in that sense, there's been, quite some changes there. One of the few constants is basically A, acts as an ally player, accused the other one of being overpowered, and the Grenadier's uniform sucks. That's pretty much the only two constants in the game that have sort of really been there, just how much the Grenadier uniform sucks. Really, it does. I'm surprised there's been absolutely nothing there to get us over a half-decent uniform for the Grenadiers. Please, Relic. Please. Please. But enough about that. But you've 1,000 episodes. What do you say to that in a sense? Part of me, just think, business as usual. 1,000. On to the next 2,000 episodes. No big deal. Los geht's, Arbeit macht frei, and so on. Of course, there's the other part of me that's all recognised, that is a big deal. That is quite a milestone. Again, I've just been casting episode after episode, seeing how the game evolves time and time again. We've had fun periods, we've had less than fun periods. It's really been a struggle just to find something half decent, because everybody else was just, Grenadier spamming into Tigers, or Tiger spamming, Rise 2 spamming, and so on there. And again, we've had really fun periods where really strange and interesting tactics and strategies were utilised. Of course, we're here now, so, seeing more and more of that, of course, as the game sort of gets more balanced. We're seeing sort of more varied strategies, and again, which is really, in my opinion, always sort of the best indicator of balance. How many varied strategies do we actually see? How many things can you actually do? Because, the game isn't balanced, 50% of winning, but all that's happening, is, one strategy being used all the time. That's not balanced. That's like saying you're healthy because you're alive, but, you look green. And your eyes are melting. And that's hardly, a good indicator of good health. Of course, that's merely how I look at things. And of course, in that sense, it might be strange. But hopefully that should sort of get the point across. But really, we got, 5 armies now? I don't think we're going to be seeing a 6th one, unless they're deciding to suddenly act the Hungarians. Of course, it's going to be interesting to see what Relic does after this. Probably a few more commanders, perhaps another overhaul somewhere, perhaps the Wehrmacht, which could do it with a bit. But otherwise, I guess, North Africa as a sort of third game. Normandy again, Italy, all good places. Pacific, not happening. North Korea, I hope that's not happening, because that'd just be Americans versus Soviets, just in the case of the Soviets with North Koreans. Wouldn't really be much of a difference there. They might as well go for a Cold War gone hot, which I overall think would be more interesting if they sort of went for around the 60s, 70s period, where sort of in terms of doctrines, there's sort of general differences, so you could actually sort of tell things apart, and they sort of have different approaches, whereas, once you sort of hit past the 70s towards into the 80s, things become a lot more bloody similar, which, tends to make things, I think, less interesting. But of course, that's quite my opinion there, but, again, 1,000 episodes. And again, I've really sunk a lot of hours into Companies 2, casting all those episodes, looking for replays for all those episodes, and really, if you sort of consider it, I've probably looked in, average probably at 3 to 4 replays for every episode I've actually casted. That's a lot. And of course we got all the other, almost 1,000 episodes of Company Heroes 1, plus all the other bits they've done. I mean, that's a lot of videos. That's a lot of content. So I mean, really, that's, something to think about. And again, at least I think, in testament to how, much enjoyable Company Heroes 2 is. I mean, I wouldn't put, one X thousand hours into this, if I didn't think Company Heroes 2 was fun or interesting. Not one bit. Not at all. That'd just be, a bloody waste of time, and I'd probably, just go brain dead. So really, if people ask, what do you think of this game? Well, I'll just say, I've casted 1,000 episodes of Company Heroes 2. That's what I think of this game. So, consider that. And of course, it's all, in part, thanks to Relic who made this wonderful game. All of its, wonderful people there. I'm not going to go through all of them because then I'll probably never be done with this episode. Partly because I can't remember the names, most of them. I mean, I can remember that some of them, obviously, the community managers, Quinn Duffy. Partly because, again, there's that one fellow in opposing fronts, though, of course, that kept getting called out as Duffy. That's pretty much one of the primary reasons I can always remember Duffy, because mine just goes, Duffy, get it together. So, that's a little fun one there. I'm sure Quinn Duffy doesn't appreciate that quite as much. At least that's my sneaking suspicion. I'm sure he'd like to be remembered for other things, but that's just me terrible with names for the most part. I mean, really, I can't, for example, with learning names of German generals and divisions and so on, I can keep messing them up there even after years, because for some reason they'll sound what sounds in my head is completely similar, and Rundstedt, Kesselring, and then, no, not that one, the other one, no, not that, the other one, the other one. That's always lovely, and I still can't tell the 9th and 10th SS names apart. Keep messing them up. I know them, but I can't quite place them. It's really silly for me anyway, so, And again, it's also a game I've really just been able to pour in more of my World War II knowledge, just adding more to it, having more fun and telling stories, and just expanding upon things. I certainly hope you see more interesting units like the actual Hetzer, for example, Luftwaffe infantry or Kriegsmarine infantry, stuff like that. It will all be very exciting to see. So really, I hope we get a lot more for Company Heroes 2 down the road, or say a Company Heroes 3 again, perhaps set in Italy or North Africa. And I'd really like some time down the future just to revisit Normandy with just new ideas and just sort of more perspective on things. So yeah, there's a lot that's going on. Obviously, I could make an even bigger video just talking about what I'd like to see in the next Company Heroes game. I might actually do that if there's an interest. So I mean, there's a lot there. But obviously, Relic has thanks, family, friends has thanks. I mean, I probably wouldn't be able to do that again without the support, and certainly also the fans, in particular the ones who've actually donated. I definitely wouldn't be able to make all these episodes with all the donations I've received. Very, very big thanks to you. You're pretty much one of the primary reasons I've been able to do so. And certainly also hope you keep donating. And of course, for those who might consider donating, feel free to do so. Got a link there in the video description. Of course, you can. That's also quite fair, but I mean, they deserve a mention without a doubt, because again, without them, I wouldn't be here casting all of these videos. The donations has very much, played a large role in that, allowing you to keep making video after video, covering several other games, reviewing games, and so on. So, really, I can't stress enough how much, they are thanked. 2 thumbs up to all the donators. You're all very lovely people. Very, very lovely people. So, I mean, that's of course also a big thing. But of course, again, family, friends, Relic, they'll kind of hope to count them at least somewhat within friends. I'm sure Quinn Duffy's got, small dartboard with my picture sticked on. He's just throwing darts at it whenever something he doesn't like. Like, damn that Dane. But beyond that, there's a lot there. There's a lot there. I mean, I'm just not entirely sure again how to approach, because again, it's part of me, just business as usual. I mean, I've casted overall, we've always considered Company Heroes 1, 1,000 episodes already. So, I mean, part of me is just, thinking, But again, that's just the part of me thinks, again, this is something big, again, it's a testament to my dedication and to my love of Company Heroes 2, and overall just the Company Heroes, games and genre and RTS, which, series, I just don't really think any other RTS game basically can even come close to, because And they still refuse to even get infantry basically right, you know. At least modern infantry. I.e. not Napoleonic, but actually using bloody cover, operating in squads, having more than perhaps one weapon, and, you know, so on. And also, you know, being able to hurt tanks pretty decisively with Panzerfaust, Panzerschrecks, anti-tank grenades, and so on. You know, infantry's bloody infantry are vital, an integral part, whereas most modern RTSs treats them like, you know, I mean, they just know what to do with them. I mean, it's clear they just don't know what to do. They're kind of like they're in a red-haired stepchild, you know. They're there, but no one really wants to deal with them. That's pretty much how most other RTS games deal with them, because, again, they just never consider, you know, well, how do they actually operate? Don't they just, you know, die, explode, evaporate, you know, when exposed to the harsh environments of air or something? I mean, that could be how the developers view, you know, the outside, you know, good lord, you can't move about there without being in a car or a tank. I mean, good lord, all that oxygen, air, people, women, that's terrible. I can't imagine anyone fighting out there, you know, unless they're in a tank. I mean, that's very much a possibility. But, you know, enough about that. 1,000 episode, and I'm completely out of ideas what else to say here about the game now. Well, what about to say about doing 1,000 episodes. But I hope, you know, people enjoyed it. I hope, you know, again, I mean, there's always some that like it, always some that don't like it, always some, you know, tell me to, you know, do something specific, you know, to stop sounding so annoying. To speak slower, to speak faster. And of course, where I'm from, which, you know, is Denmark, but, you know, I've been accused of being from Ireland, Scotland, I think, Wales, England, Germany. Surprisingly, a few times Danish has been sort of the thought there, which I suppose means they think I'm some kind of pastry. Or a dog. I mean, a lot, you know, thoughts there, fun thoughts, then again, bit of a ramble, bit of a rant, but, you know, how often do you get to do 1,000 episodes? I'd like to think I've earned some slack somewhere in doing all of this content, all of this work, all of this fun, all of this commentary. And I mean, sometimes the challenge, you know, just thinking up titles for the episodes, like, what do I call that? Can I make up some kind of really great pun, or will someone complain it gives it all away because, you know, make a reference to, you know, 1930s band or whatever, you know. I'm trying, you know, to be a bit funny and witty, and then someone just complain, you spoiled it, you gave it away, your opponent's going to drop in from behind and call in a Zeppelin. Something like that. Obviously no Zeppelins in the game, but, you know, you never know. So in that sense, you know, there's always a bit of a challenge there, always something you just, you know, gotta think about. So, I mean, you know, there's a lot there, really, and again, it's an interesting experience, also just because, again, you know, you just get to see the game evolve over time. And you just, even more surprising is how much people keep forgetting. You know, they'll say, like, oh, this never happened, certainly not in Companies 1. You're like, yes, it happened, it still does, probably. It happened several times in Companies 1. Oh, they never played for call-ins. Yes, they did. They very much did. One common tactic was spam grenadiers until King Tiger. What a Tiger. Relying on 242s until Tiger. What we call that, oh right, mechanized assault. You know, list goes on. I mean, a lot of people tend to have a bit of, you know, a short-term memory of a goldfish. That's been already sort of shaken around in the goldfish bowl. And then kicked. And then flushed out the toilet. And that's always something you just find sort of amusing, slightly annoying. You know, again, when you see people just act like, you know, this never happened in Companies 1, you can just go, yes, it did. It very much did, Lawrence. It very much did. Time and time again. But, you know, nostalgia. You can't really argue with it. Just as much you can't argue with a Tiger tank. So, I think that's really sort of really want to say on the topic. I mean, you know, just trying to get across again, just the whole amount of time, whole amount of perspective I have on the game there. I mean, just watching so many different people play in different ways, how they evolve, how things just sort of slowly pick up. It's really hard to get across, to be honest. But also just the time you sort of spent on it, and so on there, just the enjoyment of seeing people report on it day after day, thanking me for it, saying, it helps them, after work or when they're on the hospital or running from the police. Well, probably not that one, but, who knows? Might be someone right now somewhere in Florida listening to me while he's on the run from the police for, I don't know, shaving a beaver. For all I know. So, yeah, a lot there really. Again, there's just this dissonance. The part of me is just going, business as usual, and the other one, come on, let's try to make a big deal out of this. So I think I'll stop here because I can just sort of repeat myself and go in circles. But, overall, the big question is, I hope you've enjoyed yourself. I certainly have, and I hope you'll keep enjoying yourself. I hope you keep, following and supporting the Propagandacast, and I certainly hope you'll keep donating as well, because, donations are really a big part of this, so do consider it. This is Imperial Dane saying cheers, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching 1,000 episodes. Thank you for enjoying 1,000 episodes of Companies 2. And of course, thank you to Relic for allowing me 1,000 episodes of Companies 2. Thank you for making one hell of an RTS. Currently the best there is. Until, of course, something you make, which is hopefully better. Obviously there's a chance they fuck up. Just look at the Jagdpanzer. They still haven't fixed that one. It just requires one MG42 that sort of does something at the infantry besides diddle it. But, that's why I love Relic, because they're actually willing to try something, and they'll mess up, at least they're trying, they're not just going to go, oh well, this is perfection, we shall never evolve from here. We kind of got that already. That's called the rest of the RTS genre, and, most people don't play their games very much. Fun fact there. So really, that's just all something to consider. Again, thank you all, and hope to see you all for another 1,000 and 1,000 of episodes. That really just sort of, ruins the whole sounding like an evil genius when they didn't sound like, you've inhaled chlorine gas. But anyways, thank you all and hope to see you. Cheers.